This is Kitzur Yomi as we continue, Simin Nun Gimel, Sif Gimel. Says the Kitzur, Perish Sharno Bilsham Rak Bishul Raitiv. Fruit that is cooked or soaked for the sake of the raitiv of the broth, Mavarach Alav Shahakol, Lachain Varach on a cup of Altesh Shahakol, coffee and tea, Vachain al Sheikhar and beer, Bein Shu B'Tbar and Bein Shu Misayrim. This is the reason why, concluding all the halachas of Al Beis Gimel over here, Kimat, all our drinks are going to be a shahakol. That fruit soup compote is going to be the one challenging case. Sif dalid yirakos perish chamsu. Fruits and vegetables that are soaked in salt water so that they're pickled. Afisha darkim bekach. This is the derech. Gayin, gorkin, orkikis, rata, ribbon, svickle, burkis, karait, corpse, beets, cabbage, cucumbers, gherkins, pickles, etc. Lemaisa, we only make a shahakol on the roitev. Afisha tama yarak. Even though lemaisa you taste the fruits and the vegetables, we call Ikkur vTafel. That's the aside. Why are you making these things? Because you like pickles. Now it happens to be that the liquid has a nice taste also, but it's made for the fruit and not for the liquid. Therefore, and I guess maybe borscht would be a type of drink like this. If you eat the vegetable first, and you eat the cucumber, and you make a if some reason you're drinking a cup of pickle juice, whether that's normal or not, don't do this, and you should pater with another bracha. Fruits, vegetables, legumes, and the like. They're cooked in a liquid and it has its own flavor. Kigoy, and I knew when I said borscht a moment ago, I was going to get caught up because I don't really know what borscht is. So I should have just stuck with pickles. But now, when we have things that are cooked in a liquid that has its own flavor, going behind a borscht, oy bechalav, mevarchen al reitav shakol, v'machal tchilas amaichol. If you first ate a maichol, machta bracha. Yisafik nacham and reitav nifter up beracha zayis. Sevav tzimukim raisin shishem nachluchas kol kawavach that have a lot of liquid shemadarkanas and eitel mehem divshan. If you crush them, their honey, their juices would come out. If you took those raisins, you crushed them, you soaked them in water. To drink the liquid and not the raisins. You're soaking it for the liquid. Again, that same praba, that same litmus test. You soak for 3 days and they're bubbling, they're fermenting. Now you pour out the liquid to another kli. And this is where I think raisin wine is how you make it. I don't really know. And then however, and when you need a kos yain, you could use this type of wine. We have to see always important that the raisins are more than a sixth of the water which they're soaked, or else you're going to run into an issue. We calculate them when they're moist before they're dry, the actual raisin. Shiraya. It's only by soaking the raisins. If you cook the raisins in water, if you cook them, again, until now we're talking about you soak them. If you cook them, then it does not work. King Kosab Sefer Chaim, Utolokim which Kosab Sefer Chayim, Machal Shabbos Kalvav Sif Zayin. I'm sure Rabbi Yishlat Simuki, and if you cook or soak the raisins al das lachol gam simuki. But now you're doing it also for the raisins. Yishkam Sfeikis Bracha Shal Mashke, and then Nachlamol you can run into Sfeikis on the bracha. And we move into Simin Nun Dalit, such an important sim. I mean, every sim is important, but as we're going to see. And Baichel Shnei Dvarim, you ate 2 items. Baichel Shai you ate and drink. Vechad Ikkur Atzlayim, one is the Ikkur. Vasheni hu Tafel. And the second one is a Tafel. That his purpose in eating the second one is not for the food. It's to make the ikkur taste better. If you didn't have the ikkur, you wouldn't eat the tafel at all. So again, we're going to see so many cases, but we could use a little bit of an extreme case even to start of cereal and milk. Would you be having the milk if not the cereal? No. Now maybe you would, but in this case, you're having cereal and the milk is there lematek to sweeten, to give the cereal the good taste. And now let's see the Kitzur's case. You feel weak, you need to get better. You're having herring or radish, and they're so sharp. This is an extreme case. We don't have such case in our reality. You need a little bit of bread. Look how far this goes. You could even have a little bit of bread. Or if you want to have some liquor of a is it pre? Then mevarich ralik ikkur, you have an incredible case. You're not going to even make a bracha on the bread. Avada in our world, as we'll mention, this is not really so applicable. Even you're going to say herring and a cracker, lamaisa, you're always going to enjoy the cracker as well. So the pashtus is in our world, we're going to usually have to make them mezainis as well, and not just a shahakol. You wouldn't even need a nitzarch. If beis dafka, and bachlas ikkur tchilas, only if you ate ikkur first achos tafel, then you ate the tafel. When you made bracha on the ikkur, you tight the lechem comes the tafel. You're having that very sharp herring, and then you can have that little bit of cracker, a little bit of bread, just to make it palatable. You're thinking about it. But let's say you had that, and then a little bit later you go and you have a piece of bread. Then avada sh'azar levarich ala tafel. We conclude with sif gimel v'chein amachot tchilas tafel. If you eat the tafel first, v'achar kigoyin she'roitz alishas yayin zar o yayin zar v'chadei shalisa liber reikanas be'ilamaisa. You don't want to have the wine, the schnapps on an empty stomach. So yoichel tchilas is never cotton. Then you have to think of rachal tafel because you eat it by itself. None, however, some say it goes down. Some say you only make a shahakol. So you should have the ikkur first. And again, we're just being a shtickle violent because this the klal of Adar applies. At cereal and milk, I think will be a very simpler example. That when you're making that mezainos, you're making that hadam on your cereal, and then you're having the milk, it's going to pater it. And avada, in a similar vein, don't go drink the milk first and then have the cereal. Have a little bit of the cereal that patters up the milk. And then there's going to be a million cases of this, as we're going to see more and more and more and more. Just this particular case of bread, that's a little bit more of a challenging case in our mitzius. We'll pick up from here, b'siyata dishmaya.